Good morning, www.andrewmarkmusic.com. This is my Golden Rule Winter Solstice series, part 7 of 12. In the last one, I introduced the Cabal, which I view as coming out of the Kabbalistic spirituality that got instantiated into Freemasonry, the Jesuit order, and the House of Saud, especially within Islam. I linked a documentary called Secrets in Plain Sight, which I believe proves that assertion beyond any reasonable doubt. The math involved in it, the leaning towards intelligent design based on all the math and knowledge, I don't believe that that's evidence for God per se, because an alien race could have done all of that. But what I do believe that documentary proves beyond a reasonable doubt is that our current history is thoroughly reductionist. You know, for 100,000 years, we've pretty well been how we are, and yet there's only a very short history. There's 100,000 years of history missing. And it looks like a cataclysm happened 12,000 years ago. That's another blog. How easy has it been for the Cabal to control humanity? Well, pretty damn easy. But before I get into that, I'll mention that I've given due consideration to the materialist atheist worldview in this series and find it wanting, especially in relation to the behavior of the Cabal, which I've asserted is toxic and Machiavellian. Certainly, what's a fact is that the Cabal exists and operates regardless of humanity's ontological and metaphysical condition. And the denial of this fact by the secular community is a cowardice betrayal of the human condition, in my opinion. And so we move on to other speculations. Now, I just want to make a note on that last part. There's obviously people that are criticizing the oligarchy and the plutocracy. But there is a large section of people who should be doing it and are not. And that's my point. So now we'll move on to other speculations, and speculation would be the operative word. Our memory was wiped at birth. That's correct. Someone or something has wiped memory from our incarnations here at birth. Not necessarily an endorsement of reincarnation. Add to this that humans are born helpless for almost 1/3 of their life, that most humans are non-violent in their relations to others. It's how we actually survived as a species. And the conditions are now ripe for a small group of deviant psychopaths to seize control of life and the economic systems on the planet. And this appears to be exactly what's happened. They set up mass systemic apparatuses of religious and financial control, all enforced by violent coercion and unnecessary exploitation. The house always wins. This is a fact of economics when economics is controlled by a cabal. And it's not random that the economic model for the earth is now patterned on the casino. With a few notable exceptions, the house always wins. In the long run, because of the mathematical advantage the casino enjoys over the player. That is what Mario Puzo was referring to in his famous novel Fools Die, when his fictional casino boss character, Gronevelt, commented, "Percentages never lie. We built all these hotels on percentages. We stay rich on the percentages. You can lose faith in everything. Religion, God, women, love, good and evil, war and peace, you name it. but the percentage will always stand fast. Just a side note, it sounds like Steven Pinker. And there you have it, the near total rationalization of pathological dominator hierarchy. Welcome to the machine. The question now is, how the hell do we free ourselves from this systemic control? Well, if I knew the answer to that. But one thing I'm sure of is the solution is not based within any kind of New Age spirituality or otherwise, which places the burden of this toxic condition on any person, individual, especially when that approach is always premised on dubious metaphysics and unprovable spiritual claims. No, systemic solutions are needed, as that is what the Cabal controls, the systems, and we need to change the toxic systems of control. And I'm just going to make a note there that I believe that the capitalist communist dichotomy is a civilizational psyop. So I am not advocating Marxism, although I do believe that Marx was an economic genius. But the biggest problem I have with leftism at the moment is that it appears to me to be warfare against idealist or the idealist worldview, against spirituality, against God. This thoroughly against, and from what I can tell of the people involved in it, do I want to live in their Marxist utopia when they get it? No, these people are assholes. Don't want anything to do with them. So I am not advocating Marxism as a solution to these problems. Well, I am a spiritualist. A note that I need to finish up on my assessments of religion from earlier posts. We'll get there. Next up will be why Islam is not the answer to our current predicaments. And we'll get into Hinduism and Buddhism, and yes, ET theory and cryptocurrencies. So that's part 7 of my Winter Solstice Golden Rule series. Peace out.